Yeah, we'll get started. Okay, so tonight is, in fact, and Stacy, should I mute you? Sorry. Or do you want to mute yourself
I'll mute
while we're
myself.
recording? Okay, we'll start. Yeah. But obviously unmute if you have something, a question or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So welcome tonight. So we're talking about how to set up appointments. And this is something that we've been learning through our sales coach, Tasha Smith. And this has been great. Oh, and Kaylee's on. Hey, Kaylee. We just are starting, so you haven't missed a thing. Can you hear us? She's figuring it out.
Oh, now I can hear you.
Oh, good. There we go. Okay, we just were getting started, so I said you didn't miss anything yet.
Oh, thank God. I was trying to get on.
Yay, we're glad you're here. Okay, so tonight we're talking about how to set appointments. So this has been great because we've been learning with Tasha and track your own statistics to see what works best for you. But it seems to be, for most people, what's most successful is just scheduling a one-on-one appointment. It's just so much more personable. You're able to really get to know their personal needs and what they need, and you can really cater the appointment to them. And of course, it's so much more, we think doing classes, right? Because it saves time because you've got a couple of people together at once. But if your close rate isn't 100% or, which is probably not, but if you're not closing all those people, then it might be more beneficial to do one-on-ones, and because you have a higher close rate, typically speaking, with one-on-ones. So anyway, so that's what we're talking about tonight, is just how to set those appointments with people on a one-on-one basis. So to start off, I thought this was a very interesting statistic. So it's 20% of the people out there will buy from you no matter what. No matter what you're selling, no matter what you say, 20% will buy from you. Great, right? We love those people. 20% will not buy from you no matter what. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, 20% won't buy. And then the 60% is up to you. So those are the people that are sitting on the fence and are able to be swayed one way or the other. So that's pretty cool. I like that little statistic. Okay, so let's just go over a little bit of this here right at the beginning. So why people don't want to set appointments with you. So, and then we'll talk about how to set an appointment. So most of the time it has nothing to do with you, right? Absolutely nothing. A lot of times, especially women, right? We take on like, oh, it must be something's wrong with me, or they don't like me. It has nothing to do with you. Nothing at all. So the first reason is that they may not just be interested in your product. They have zero interest in what you're selling or what you're teaching them about. They have no interest, so they have no desire to set an appointment with you. Second reason is that they're extremely interested in your product and they are scared to death of how much money they may spend. So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3 is that they don't want to do business with people that they know. And unfortunately with that one, there's nothing you can do about it. They'll buy from a complete stranger, but they won't buy from somebody they know. And that's totally fine. Fourth reason is they may not know that you set appointments or that you sell the product you're selling, which sounds silly, but I run into people all the time. Like, everybody in our neighborhood knows that we do doTERRA. I mean, this is our life. And yet there's some people like I'll randomly run into and they're like, oh yeah, we heard, like we had new people at a church and we were just meeting them. They moved in like a month or 2 ago. And they're like, oh yeah, we heard that there's like somebody in our ward who does doTERRA big time, but we didn't know who it was. And we're like, oh, it's us. Like, oh yeah, okay. So kind of like, ooh, could have done better there. Anyway, the other one is they aren't your neighbor, so they aren't close by. So they have no idea, right? They're not with you day to day, so they just don't know that you set up appointments or that you do what you're doing. The sixth reason is they're busy. So and they may not be busy doing the right things, right? But that's not us to judge. But they're just so overwhelmed with their life. They have so much on their plate that they literally can't fit in another thing. This number 7 is they don't know what the appointment entails. So if you just say, oh, I can set up a one-on-one appointment with you, if they don't know what that entails, and that sounds like too much of a time commitment to them or too overwhelming, then they'll say no. And the last one is that you lack the discipline to set the appointments. And I am so guilty of this one. So how many times have you had a friend over? You know, they go, oh my gosh, you have a diffuser. What are you diffusing? That smells so good. And you just start like spewing doTERRA information out of your mouth, right? Without like, okay, so what we're supposed to do, or what we should do, I'll say, is reel it in, try to contain ourselves as hard as it is, and say, you know what? What I usually do is set up an appointment. Yeah, doTERRA diarrhea. Totally, Kaylee. Totally. Like we're vomiting. Yeah, we're vomiting doTERRA all over them. But yeah, just to let them know, you know what I usually do for people is set up a quick appointment to go over a few of the most popular kits. And I have that script right here, and we'll read it. We'll read it to you. So then you can not be talking business when you're sitting with your friend and having a like girl time or a play date or whatever. So anyway, does that make sense? Those sound like legit reasons why people may not set an appointment with you. Okay. So here is the little script I started to read here, and I'll show you. And I'll get this typed up and put it up on the Breeze Sure Build page. So I love this wording. It's just so simple and so easy. So it just says, usually what I do for people is set up a quick appointment to go over a few of the most popular products, or you could say kits there, probably would be better. And then you can decide for yourself if it's a good fit for you. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to, and my part will take about 30 minutes. What do you think? We can do it in person or over the phone. Which would be better for you? Super easy, huh? Like, does that sound pretty good? It flows pretty well. I'm going to cross out this product to make sure we put in kits there. And then usually they'll say, yes, great. And then you just say, great, I'm trying to get, 2 more appointments this week. We can do, Tuesday at 4 or Thursday at 10, which works better for your schedule. Which goes into, a few little tidbits for setting appointments with people. The first one is to never really say, when's a good time for you? Because if you think about that, does anybody ever really have a good time to sit and learn about something that they don't know about yet, or buy something that they don't know that they need? No, there's never a good time. So it's never going to happen. It's always going to be, oh, I'll do that later. I'll do that later. But rather than asking when is a good time, ask them, give them a choice of 2 different times. And I totally recently actually just tested this one out. I texted somebody who I knew really, 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 really wanted to sit down and do a one-on-one with me by like Thursday. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to try this. I know she really wants to meet with me, so I'm just going to say, when's a good time? So I did. Guess what? No answer. Crickets chirping. And so a few days later, I texted her back again and just said, okay, I just want to make sure we get together before you leave town. Would, Tuesday at 9 a.m. work, or Thursday after 4? And she got right back to me. Tuesday at 9 works. Great. So now we set these appointments. So it's so funny that I didn't even like trust it, right? Like I had to experiment with it and see if that's really the way it was. So anyway, so 2 choices of times always works best. And then when you're starting it out with them, to ask a no question, because psychologically, when anybody asks us anything, our first response is always no. So you don't want to say, hey, can I set up an appointment with you? Because the first thing they're going to instinctively want to say is no. So instead, ask a question that's going to get that first no out, okay? So ask them, did I catch you at a bad time if you're calling them? Did I catch you at a bad time? And then they can say, no, it's a great time. Let's talk, yeah. And then what was the other one? Oh, is Friday too soon for us to meet? So just ask any question that's going to allow them to say no. So just like when we're teaching the classes, right, and we're asking them, we want them saying yes to us, This is the opposite. We want them to say no to us at first so that then they'll get that no out and then they can commit to an appointment. And then just let them know, give them an agenda and a time frame. Like with this example we did, like, I'm just going to set up a quick appointment with you, go over a few of the most popular kits, and you can decide if it's something, that you would like or not. And then removing the pressure to buy. There's no pressure to buy anything, but you don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you want, we'll help you get it ordered. So you can totally write, like, I'll put this other script up here, but you can totally make it your own. Like, make it however you want it to be. So one idea is to do, because how many people have we called or how many people have we already sampled or we've already talked to and they already know that we do this, or we just need to call them, right? Like, we just need to have that conversation. Or you could do this through Facebook Messenger or text or something too, right? If you have a hard time getting people on the phone. So this is for this little script is for an initial appointment. So you just say, hey, it's Melissa. Did I catch you at a bad time? So there you're getting the no out. Okay, so I know I'm calling you totally out of the blue, but I'm just calling to get your thoughts on something. So I just started my own business. I'm selling, doTERRA essential oils, and as part of my learning process and getting started, in general, I'm trying to set up appointments with people that I know so I can get comfortable. So you don't have to buy anything if you don't want to, and my part will take about 30 minutes. Would you be willing to help me out? Sure, I'd love to, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm just going to go over what things you would want to know about and some of the more popular kits. We can do it over the phone or in person. Which do you think would be better for you? And then, over the phone. Okay, great. I'm just trying to get, 2 more appointments this week. I can do it Tuesday or Thursday. Which works better for you? And then after that, and then they say, okay, Thursday, awesome. Well, that was easy. Okay, and then, so how are you doing? I've missed seeing you. And, so then get into the personal stuff so that then they don't think you only called them for this reason and they're not feeling used and abused. So anyway, and I don't want to give you guys too much info. But you can get into other calls or scripts for, okay, I know that, oh wait, Kaylee, am I cutting out? Stacy, am I cutting out at all? My volume? My audio? Oh, Stacy thought it was just slow internet. So apparently it's my slow internet?
I'm good here in Ottawa.
Oh, well, good. Okay, maybe it is your slow internet then, you guys. We'll blame it on you. If Manon and I are good. Can you hear okay, though, enough that you can? Of course.
I lost the video for a little while.
You did?
But well, it just froze, but I was able to hear you.
Oh, good. Okay, that's usually an internet connection problem.
Yeah, I have horrible internet here. Horrible. Okay. So I thought it was just me.
We always have issues, technical issues. What would a call be without it?
Right.
All right. So I was just going to say, so we could go over some other scripts, or we could role play those or whatever, but we could go over some other scripts for, okay, if you've already sampled somebody, you could just totally be honest with them, right? And be like, okay, you know what? I know I've given you some samples and I've totally dropped the ball and I haven't followed up with you and given you, the opportunity to have a one-on-one, or, however you want to say it. But like I said, totally be honest with them and just be like, okay, I was doing my business before and I totally was screwing stuff up, but I've got it right now. Can I, would you be open to having a one-on-one appointment with me? And my part will only take about 30 minutes. It'll be really easy. We'll go over your health concerns and go over some of the most popular products. You can ask me any questions you have, whatever. But anyway, so tell me, you guys, though, what are your thoughts so far, or any questions you have?
I would love to learn how to set up that second appointment. That's where I'm really struggling because people don't want to meet with me a second time.
Oh.
Well,
okay.
I'm having a hard time getting people to commit to a second meeting. And it's like, what do you do? Because, well, with my one-on-ones, I, in the past, have gone over their health concerns at that one.
Okay.
That may change now that we are doing things a little differently, and so it might be easier, but the ones that I've already done that with, I'm not being able to get a second appointment with them and a follow-up with them, and I'm wondering how to do that and what to do at that second appointment since we've already gone over their wellness and things haven't changed with them.
Okay, so we're assuming they've enrolled or they purchased something?
Correct.
Okay.
Most of them I really want a second one with is the ones that have enrolled recently, have not used anything again, or had a very small enrollment, and we would like to get them to use something regularly that is going to benefit them. And I've got quite a few people that have gone inactive, and I would love to reinstate them. And so just coming up with a way to do that.
Yeah, that's great.
And that may be for another call, another day.
Yeah, no, this is perfect. This is perfect because I have that other script right here. So this is a script for setting up a follow-up appointment. So after their first order. And so this one is, so now that your first order is on the way, we need to set up a time to quickly go through how you can order on your own and how you can get the best discounts for when you do order. So you're making it about them saving the most money. So do these people already know how to?
Yeah, they already know.
They already know how to use the back office? Okay.
Well, I've got a couple that don't, but some of them do. And they just have gone inactive for whatever reason. Just haven't ever been real regular. Or I mean, my people that order regularly from the beginning, they stick around.
Right.
But it's those that order a couple things for the first couple months and then don't order again and have gone inactive. Or for like my new one, Sarah, who was very on board, really wanted to start doing all of her spending towards doTERRA instead of the local health thing.
Right.
I've not been able to get her on board to meet with me again or to be on a phone call with me, or she just says she hasn't had time to go into her back office or anything like that. And I've got maybe two like that I'd like to focus on. But mostly my inactive people and my newer enrollments that have never gone in and ordered again.
Okay. All right. So say those other people who, obviously, if they don't know how to use their back office or they don't know how to order, then you can use that as an example, right? Be like, I want to make sure you know how to order, and that you're getting like the best bang for your buck, or however you want to phrase it. So another thing you could do for like those who've gone inactive, I mean, try this on for size. Like, right, you can reword this to however you want to be, but maybe try something along the lines of, you know, hey, I'm doing something new for some of my team members who've been around a while, but who haven't ordered in a few months. And I can come to your house, or we can go over or do it over the phone, whichever is best for you. But, you know, something along the lines with, something about, I can't think of the words to phrase this right now, but something about using the oils that they haven't used, like showing them ways to use, like what oils they have that have never been opened, or ones that aren't empty. I don't know how to phrase that, and I cannot think off the top of my head of how to say that in an eloquent way, but...
Yeah, text it to me when you can think about it.
Okay. But do you know what I'm saying? Like something along those lines about, I'm trying to make sure people are using their oils or know how to use the oils that they have in their home. I don't want them just sitting there and not being used or collecting dust when they could be benefiting you and your family.
So what if they've only got one or two oils?
That's okay, right? Are they all gone?
I have no idea.
So yeah. So even that, just say, hey, I just want to make sure that you know how to use the oils that you have, because what a waste it would be if they were just sitting there on your shelf and you could be benefiting from them.
I could introduce, sorry, Kaylee.
You're fine. I also did incentives for, I think like the month after convention, I gave a month time frame, and if you were new and ordered or you hadn't ordered in the past year and you lapsed or anything like that, then you got in on that incentive too. And I actually got 2 more to reorder that haven't ordered in a year. So
Awesome. So what'd you do for the incentive?
they got a case for their oils and they got a Life Essentials book that I had extras of.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So yeah, you could totally do something you had extras of sitting around, or you could enter them in a drawing. Like that's always a safe, easy, because then no matter how many people order, or, you know, you're like, oh, I don't know if 5 people order, then I'm going to be stuck giving away 5 blah, blah, blahs. But if
Right.
you do the drawing, that's always a safe way to go too.
Maybe I'll incorporate that with my December one. In December, I want to do anybody that joins LRP with 100 PV or that hasn't ordered for a while and has 100 PV LRP. I'm thinking about doing an incentive for those.
There you go. Yeah.
Just
But then
include-
maybe rewarding those who are already ordering anyway. So then you could throw it into like anybody who orders 200 PV this month, I'm going to enter you in a drawing for whatever.
And people love
Right.
those cases in there. I mean, we got them at convention for like $8 a piece, and they
Oh,
hold
yeah.
the entire family kit, so it worked really well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those are great. And they were
That's a
cheap. They
really
were like
good
$5.
idea.
Where do you get your cool big boxes, and how do you take your oils everywhere? And
Yep. That's awesome. What were you going to say, Stacey? Do you have another comment?
Oh, I was just commenting on Kaylee, just saying what a good idea that is
Oh,
to get
gotcha.
at least like one of those that carries like the 10,
Yeah.
because that would be a good idea. And they're real inexpensive.
Yeah.
there's a few shops up here that sell these handmade ones for like $35. And
Oh,
I'm like,
my.
No, there's like $10 ones, and they'll hold all your oils that come in your kit. So it worked really well because they got a kit to carry on all their new stuff, and then a book to kind of get more information than they got at the class necessarily.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, and maybe, and make it, you know, it doesn't need to be anything even that big. It can be something smaller, like a roller bottle of
Right.
a flu bomb or something, or whatever it is. But yeah, I would totally phrase it around something about, you don't, you know, some of the oils they have, you know, could be benefiting them in their families in a big way. And you don't want it to be a waste, like, you know, of them just sitting there on their shelves.
I like
being
that
used.
because I feel like a lot of the people I talk to that signed up with the Family Essentials kit, they go, oh, I've only used like lavender and lemon. And then
Yeah.
they talk about how they've never really opened anything else and it's still full. So I like
Yep.
that idea.
Yeah. Because like oregano and frankincense, those seem to be the two that like nobody opens. Frankincense,
But then-
because they're scared to use it, and oregano because they're scared to use it for different reasons.
All of us
right?
harsh users are out of it every 5 minutes.
Right. I'm like using it every
Because
day.
we understand the benefits of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing I found with people is people will order their kit and they're so overwhelmed at that initial meeting that they don't remember. So it's good to go over it with them again. And that
Yeah.
could be a phone call even.
Yeah, and that's a great way too. Say, you know what, I know, you know, that class was, you know, 2 months ago. I'm sure you've forgotten all that information, and I want to make sure that you know how to use what you have, and I want to make sure you know that it's not a waste, right? Like that.
What was it that Tasha said? Everything they got that day, they'll forget by the, or half, they forget half by the next day or whatever.
Yep, every day they forget another half.
So it takes 2 days and they lost everything. you just
Pretty
talked
much,
about.
yeah. Yeah. Just so true. That's how our short-term memories work, right? You forget it all very quickly, very quickly. So, yeah, and she says, you know, don't be afraid to go and say like, hey, I'm just getting started with my business. She goes, anybody who's even been doing this years, right? You can still say, I'm just getting started with my business. She goes, unless you're like, you know, teaching this training to other people, you can still say, I'm just getting started with my business. So maybe that means I can't say that anymore.
I think you could.
I think I still could too, right? It hasn't been that long.
We're
Well,
totally
you can always
remapping
say-
everything we've done.
What's that, Kaylee?
We're totally remapping everything we've done.
Heck
for
yeah.
however long
So
we've
we're
been, so it
doing
is
our
still-
business in a new way.
That's what I was just going to say. You're revamping the business.
Yeah. In fact, and Michelle, one of our frontline leaders, she just kind of, she's been doing this longer than me, right? She's been doing it like 6 years or something. And she said, she called a bunch of people and just said, yeah, I'm just learning a new way, or I'm learning a new presentation. And would you mind if I practiced on you? I'm trying to start with people that I'm comfortable with and already know. And that's good. So yeah, and people are open to that because then they're kind of complimented because because you're saying you feel comfortable around them and that you know them well. So they're like, oh, she knows me well and she's comfortable around me. And of course, then they want to help you practice. So that's good too.
Or your 4-year-old, whatever works.
Right. Well, yeah, because you don't, the funny thing is you're asking them if you can practice on them, but in reality, you don't want to practice on them, right? You want to practice with the mirror, with your 4-year-old, with your, 1-year-old, whoever it is, so that you're really not practicing when you have your quote unquote practice with your
right.
one.
Well, there's less denial from your 4-year-old because they get all excited about it. So
heck yeah.
It makes it easier.
Yep. Whatever works. Whatever works. So yeah. Okay. So there are any other situations with which you'd want to set a one-on-one with somebody? We should talk out some verbiage on.
I know. I have one question.
Yeah.
It's what's the best way to do a one-on-one? Is it at your own place? Is it a public place? Or is it at their house? Or what has been the most successful?
I do whatever is comfortable for them. So today I did one at my house. Tomorrow morning I have one set up at their house. So I also have done them at a coffee shop or something. I totally go with whatever is most comfortable for them. So you can just ask them, just like you would say, would it be better to do over the phone or in person? They say in person, say great, say your place or mine. Or if you are uncomfortable having it at your house, because you've got kids and a dog or something, then you can just say, your house or at Starbucks, wherever, or sorry, Tim Hortons, right?
We have Starbucks here.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Well, Tim Hortons is totally better, so I don't know why you'd go to Starbucks. But.
No, yeah. Sure.
A public place I found convenient is at the eatery at the mall.
Oh,
that
yeah.
worked really well for me because it's a very generalized place. It's a very, very public place. You're not taking up valuable space for, I know a few places that don't like you to come in there and do business kind of stuff. They're small and they don't want you to take up their table and things like that.
That's
so
true.
The eatery at the mall was a really good place, very comfortable public place for us. And I probably would do that again in the future.
Yeah, so the food court area. I agree. And I have done Starbucks a lot in the past just because they seem to be more chill about people sitting there for a couple hours, and only if you buy a cup of herbal tea, they're not going to care.
I would just feel very weird about the food court because I would be thinking that I wouldn't get their full attention. They'd be like, how you look around all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would feel more comfortable, I think, one-on-one in a private or a more secluded space. I don't know.
More intimate setting. Yeah. Totally go with whatever's comfortable. Sometimes there's people you don't want in your home, or you don't
know them enough.
Yeah, you don't know them well enough. Exactly. We had this is kind of rare. I'm sure this doesn't happen super often, but we had somebody who recently joined our team who he had an ankle bracelet. He was still being monitored from jail. So at first we were a little unsure or unsettled of him knowing where we lived. But then once we got to know him, we're like, okay, totally comfortable with that. But at the beginning we were like, okay, we need to meet him in a public place. So, and like I said, I know that's very rare. That is not a common thing, but yeah, there are, like Kaylee said, there's people sometimes you just don't know well enough that you're like, do I want to invite them into my home, or do I feel comfortable going to theirs? And sometimes that's when it's definitely appropriate to meet at a public place.
Okay.
Just to keep it safe for you. But yeah, so do you guys have any other questions?
How do you go from a class where someone signed up the first time you've ever talked to them to, I guess I feel kind of like I'm bugging them after they get their kit and I'm like, oh, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. I don't really know how to go from you signed up and I'm like, oh, you're on my team and you're on all my Facebook pages. But I guess the transition from they've already signed up the first time we met to getting them to use continuously.
Yeah. So I think some of the best questions to ask for around that type of situation is asking them So what's your favorite oil so far? You know, what oils have you really enjoyed using? Or asking them what oil, is there an oil that you haven't opened yet that I can help you, find a way for you to use? But I think sticking with the positive or asking for a testimonial. Like, people love to give testimonials. Like, you can always ask somebody like, hey, I'm collecting testimonials for a class I'm putting together. Would you mind letting me know what your favorite oil is and how and why you use it? That always gets people excited.
When should that follow-up be after the first one-on-one and after they've received their kits? Is it a week, 2 weeks, or do you give like a month for them to really try things out?
Everybody argues about this one. There's so many answers out there. I don't know that there is a perfect answer, but I say within, less than a week after they get their product.
Really?
I think that's a good time frame, because hopefully when they first get it, they're going to be super excited. So you want to cash in on that excitement and make sure you're helping them use as much as they can. And then you can help them, and if you need to set up another appointment with them the next month to show them how to order, that's totally fine if that's too soon for them to order. But what do you guys do, Stacy and Kaylee? How long do you wait before you follow up?
I try to follow up within a week, but so far I have never been able to get them to commit to a follow-up visit. It's just been a quick phone call, and they're on or they're not, and
but that's really totally fine. It's some type of follow-up, right?
Yeah.
Like something.
Yeah. I try to within a week. Samples, enrollments, kits, everything. I try to within that first week because of the excitement and interest is there. They haven't forgotten about it. It's not sitting on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah. I think a month is too long. Okay. What about you, Kaylee? How long do you go?
I usually contact them when I know their kit should be arriving soon and ask them if they've gotten it yet. And then I usually play off that within like 3 days or so.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Does that help answer that for you, Manon?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. But there's no right or wrong answer, right? It's just you got to find what works best for you. It's like I said, I've heard so many. I've heard everything from like 2 days to 2 weeks. So go with what it feels right to you.
Stacy,
sorry, go ahead, Kaylee.
When you're talking about how people aren't really responding to having another meeting, are you doing any through Facebook Messenger? I know that sounds so high school.
I actually do most of my business either through texting or Facebook Messenger because I have maybe an hour a day, if I'm lucky, maybe 3 days a week that I can be on the phone. Okay. I'm really limited with my time, or I would be way more successful. But I do a lot through Messenger, through texts, and I think with the younger crowd, that's how people communicate. And so I'll set up appointments that way. I do a lot of follow-ups that way, but it's still the most beneficial when I can do it face-to-face or actually talking to a person on the phone. I still think those are the best ways.
Right.
But I'm so time restricted. That's really a difficult thing for me to be able to do. And it may take me weeks to get a hold of somebody because of that. But I do at least send a message or a follow-up that way. And it's worked really good for me.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think any contact at all is great. Like, right? The worst is nothing. So even if you can just send them a text, if you're not able to call them or do a one-on-one schedule appointment with them, at least, follow up with them with something, whether it's the text or Facebook message or whatever. I think that's great. Because then they know that you're there to help answer any questions, right? That you didn't just drop them after they enrolled or something, right? That's not what it's all about. And then we have that Facebook class too that we do. We've only been doing it about every 6 months, but we have one on the making the most of your membership that we just did. What was that, last week?
Yeah. And
so that's available anytime. So if you've got even just one person who's enrolled, just let us know and we can give you access to that class and you could send them that class, because that class really walks through how to use the back office and how to order and the differences between the ordering, like one time and an LRP. And continuing ed stuff and all that. So that's another option too.
And the classes you guys have been teaching bi-week or bi-monthly have been so beneficial to my team because, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 people maybe, not enough for me to actually put a class together. And it looks, I tried it for a while and there's like no response. But I know people are attending those classes. They may not participate in the class all the time, but they're attending them. And it's been very beneficial because I can follow up with that. And they're like, oh, well, I looked at it later. Or, that was a really good point. And sometimes they participate, which is great. So I really appreciate those classes.
I'm so glad. There's so much work and it's too much to work if you don't have a lot of people there. So I'm so glad. We have such a great turnout on those and we've just loved doing them. They've been awesome. And you guys are so lucky because we're going to start selling them and you are on our team, so you get them free. Tasha told us, she's like, you guys, you totally need to start selling those. So I think we're going to start selling access to our Dropbox file for like $200 or something. So, yep.
Lucky us.
Yep. So look at you guys. Anyway, so if any of you guys want access to any of that information at any time, you have it all, the images and the Word doc and stuff. We're trying to clean it up. It's funny because we look back at some of the first classes we did and we thought they were so awesome. And now we're like, man, those were horrible.
That's how I felt about a couple of them I sent to you for information. And that's why I'm like, these are not good right now.
Yeah, these are not good. I know. We feel the same way about some of our, every time like that membership made simple. We even did that one 6 months ago and we still look back at it and we're like, oh, that was horrible. Horrible.
It just goes to show that you can succeed in the beginning and then grow on that as you go.
And that it's good. Things are always improving, right? Like that'd be really sad actually if we looked at it 6 months later and didn't think it needed improvements. So it's good. It's good. We always need to be improving. So yeah, those are some great ways.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question that's not really related.
That's
but
okay.
I didn't get to see the answer on Facebook. So someone asked you, I think she was on my team, but about using the oils in the diffuser, and you said to do oils first and then water.
Yeah.
Can you answer that? I never got that.
Yeah, I did. Okay, so if you put the oils in first and then you add like a lukewarm water, a tepid water, not cold, right? Because cold water will actually make the oil and water separate even more so. So if you do the oils first and then add the water into the diffuser, it helps it mix it up a little bit. And you'll get a more even, diffused amount of oil and water. Yeah, concentration, that's a good word. So otherwise, the oil, when it separates, like say you just put in cold water and then, or whatever water, and then you put the oils on top, it's going to have a very heavy scent at the beginning, and then there'll be nothing at the end.
Right.
It'll just be water. So that way it helps with the distribution.
I've caught myself ever since I read that post going like, no, this first. And then starting over again. I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing it that way.
I don't know why I'm doing it
that way. I did it that way until Melissa came to a class with me and I'm setting up the diffuser and she's like, what are you doing? You're putting the oils in.
It does make a big difference.
It does.
It does. So anyway, so yeah, that's why.
Good to know.
Yeah, I think I learned that from Annabelle.
I figured.
I did it before then, I think too, but she was the one who really told me why. But yeah.
Do we have another class with them coming up?
Yes. I think I sent you an invite.
I think so, but I can't keep track of all my
Thursday, isn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah. It's this week. Yeah. And that's just basically a Q&A. It's going to be a Q&A call with her. You can ask her anything about diffusers. But we're also going to focus a little bit on retail just because 'tis the season. People are buying more things for gifts or for themselves. And so just how to market it so that you can sell the diffusers and make money retail, and just different packages that you can put together.
Is that one another
Zoom in the bathroom at work?
You'll be at the bathroom at work. Stacey, and what'd you say, Kaylee?
No.
Kaylee, what'd you say?
Is that one in a Zoom call too?
Oh, yes. Yep, it is. Yep. But you can do it on just your phone if you don't have video. That's fine. Either way. Either way is good. Well, good. So do you guys have some takeaways, though, from like at least setting up the one-on-one?
I like that I'm finally getting validation in how I'm comfortable doing things. The last few classes we've had, I've had so much more success with the one-on-one, and I felt guilty that I preferred the one-on-one because everybody's like, classes, do the classes, do the classes. And I struggle with the classes a lot more. I like the personable one-on-one feeling, and I have had so many more enrollments with one-on-one.
Yep.
And then there was something, so a month or two ago, we had a class, or it might have been with the book group that we were reading or something, was just, it's okay to have retail sales. Don't feel guilty about it. Because I have probably as many retail sales as I do. Well, not anymore. I've got more enrollments and stuff now. But for a long time, I had more retail sales because people are comfortable with that.
Yep.
And so it was real nice validation that it's okay to have both.
Yeah.
And so I really like that. I think it's since we've been meeting with Tasha more.
Yeah, it's so true.
It's like, it's okay. You know, it's such a different mindset, but it's been really beneficial for me.
It is. Because you're still getting oils in people's hands to help them with their health needs or whatever, right? And then you're still making money. So it's a win-win.
The guilt's just gone. Because it was just like, I feel so guilty for having him be okay with retail, because half of my orders for a long time was retail orders. And
that's awesome.
So
you're making money.
I think I'm the exact opposite of Stacy. I like classes, and I think I need to get my butt in gear with the one-on-ones.
I know. And classes, and I struggle with classes. The hardest part for me personally is inviting. And you can't have a class if you don't invite anybody to it.
For me, it's getting people to commit.
Yeah.
People just have a really hard time committing to hosting a class. And I can only teach so many, in my own home. I do better at other people's homes.
Yeah.
And that's what I struggled with. But now that I'm doing one-on-ones, now that I'm focusing more on one-on-ones, not that I'm not doing classes, but
you're allowing
a lot more confident. Yeah.
And Kaylee, if you're comfortable with the classes, then stick with the classes. It doesn't matter. But this is where the one-on-one comes super beneficial. Is so say you have a class and you invited 6 people and 3 people didn't show up, then you can call those, 3 people. Say obviously they said they were going to come, right? If they said they were going to come and didn't show up, then you have the one-on-one is the opportunity after for the follow-up.
Right.
So, you can just call them after the class, be like, so sorry, we missed you. I'd still love for you, well, I'm trying to think of how to phrase it. And see, I'm not good enough at this yet to.
No, I get what you're saying.
Anyway, yeah. And just letting them know that, because that's great. And then you could possibly end up having like 100% from your class. If say you had the people there who enrolled and then you did follow-ups, so all the people who said they were going to come and didn't, did they enroll? Right. Like, that's awesome. That'd be great. Cool. All right. Well, I was shooting for under an hour, so that's good. We're at 45 minutes-ish. So, yeah, well, thanks for being on, guys. So I'm going to end the recording here if I can.